what I really want to talk about right now is the game. Like starting a game where it's the first game and you get a goal that's scored against you in the 31st second. It's like
Yeah.
in the first minute you get a goal, but to have the mental resilience to come back in the game like that, it's something that we saw last season with Leipzig on
Yeah.
the first game. So, what do you think? What made it easier to control the game from that point?
I think a big part of it is kind of not that we're an old team or a team of veterans by any means, but I think some of the experience that we have from the players on the roster, like Marco Reus, he's been with Dortmund for ages now, and he is what I would say a veteran, and he's very familiar with the game and has a great game sense, and he has kind of like an ability, I think. He not only makes himself better, but he makes his teammates better. You know, when he's making off-ball cuts and he's cutting into space when he doesn't have the ball at his feet, it creates space for his teammates, and I think that helps. I don't know if it necessarily makes them better on its own, but when they have that extra space because they know Marco Reus is really being focused on by the defense, it gives them the opportunity to be a little more creative. And when you have a player like Jadon Sancho, who finds his way into very, very remarkable positions, especially in goal-scoring areas, he's got this knack for creating space when there is none when he's got the ball at his feet, and he tends to attract multiple defenders to him. And I think we saw quite a bit of that in the Super Cup match with Bayern. His assist to Alcacer to get the goal was really good. He kind of drew 3 or 4 defenders on him, and it freed up a bunch of space for Paco, and then he just set Paco up with an easy goal. And I think we're seeing similar things happening in this regular season as well. In that first matchup, like you mentioned, Jadon Sancho was very good with the ball at his feet. He already has an assist. I think as well, Axel Witsel, not only is he very helpful defensively for the team as a central defensive midfielder, but he has the ability to find teammates going on runs, like his assist to Brandt at the very end of the game. And then early in the game, he had an assist as well. I think when you've got players who are playing with the mindset of creating opportunities for their teammates, things start to really click offensively. And I think our whole team really likes to get involved, and it's not just a one-person attack. You know, we don't just have Marco Reus sprinting up the sidelines and hoping that he runs around everyone. We've got Paco Alcacer and Marco Reus in the middle, and then you've got maybe Götze on the middle or Hazard in the middle, and then on the wings you've got Reus and Sancho. You've got a lot of different options, and each of the options has like a very unique skill set. And Marco Reus and Jadon Sancho specifically are very good dribblers, and they have great ball control. And I think that's a huge part of it. I think that kind of ability really influences the outcome of matches, especially when you've got players like Paco who can score pretty much any time that he touches the ball in the box. Sancho, we know, has some pretty good finishing abilities. Götze as well. Reus himself is no stranger to scoring. There's a lot of different people and players on the team who can score, and it's about finding them in the right places at the right times. And I think right now, the experience we have between Reus, Witsel, and even Sancho, I think he grew up a lot and matured over the course of last season, and I think that showed a lot in the preseason and in his play in that first week matchup. I think when you've got players like that, it really kind of helps the team flow better, and it helps them get into a rhythm. And when you've got players who can pass the ball really well, we passed the ball so effectively for most of Saturday, especially once we got back in the match. You know, after that opening goal, the defense kind of tightened up. There's still some questions there, but I think it's a team effort, and I think the team right now is all on the same page, and they have a very, very team-centered mindset. It's not about, building individual stats, and I think that's a huge part of why they were so successful, especially in that 15-minute stretch in that second half where we had 3 quick goals.